Hi, Luzia. Let's take a look at this essays. The first one is about modern cultures have become similar. Then there are two questions here. What are the reasons for this, and is it positive or negative? All right, so let's see how you organize this. The industrialization and international migration have changed traditions and brought religions closer, leading therefore to significantly similar cultures. In my opinion, this cultural transformation can lead to a more tolerant society, but it may also make individuals all think in the same way, which can negatively impact social progress. In this essay, the causes and consequences of similar cultures will be discussed. Okay, well, you talked about the first one. You mentioned the reasons. What I don't see here is an answer to this question, and that's something I really want you to address in your introduction. Just answer whatever the questions are briefly, but do say whether you think it's positive or negative, because here you said great, tolerant, but you also said social progress. So just you have to answer it. And as I'm sure I've mentioned before, this should occur in your introduction. All right, so let's see what else you wrote. It is true that in a growing number of cultures, their uniqueness is becoming questionable, probably because of international trade and free movement of people. Since industrialization, Western countries have increased their trade deals with other nations as a means of improving their economies. And as a result, a large number of products and services previously unknown by the general public have been introduced with success. However, consumption trends are likely to change, which might affect and transform traditions, especially in terms of gastronomy. For example, it has been seen that countries such as Portugal and Spain, in countries such as Portugal and Spain, the typical Mediterranean diet has been replaced by fast food. Also, a significant number of nations have opened their borders and shown tolerance towards different traditions and religions. Consequently, many countries represent what is called the melting pot of races, as it is seen in the UK, USA, and Germany, leading therefore to a society lacking typical features because they are indeed a mixture of cultures, and so they tend to look the same. It's a long sentence, okay? A little too long because you had a lot of different things happening. So look at this. You've got many countries represent a melting pot, as it is seen here, leading to a society lacking typical features. They are a mixture, and so just so many different clauses that just make up this sentence. So I would have liked to see you break it up a little bit somewhere. Now, let's look at one more thing here. This paragraph should have been about the reasons. Alright, so let's move on to your next paragraph. The similarity of societies can be positive and negative. On the one hand, the acceptance of different religions and customs can make societies more tolerant because having different people with different cultures living in the same community, they can follow their traditions without being judged. Take, for example, the existence of mosques and Catholic churches in the UK, which not evidences, which proves, that's the word you want, how the respect and inclusion of different religions can contribute to a much more peaceful and tolerant society. On the other hand, a merge of different cultures might lead to a loss in terms of specific traditions related to a nation, and consequently next generations are likely to think all in the same way, which might compromise the creation of new ideas and so deter the development of a global society. All right, it's lovely. It's very good. Okay, no, it's very nice. There was one thing that I wanted to mention to you, and it's this decision to talk about both the positives and the negatives here. I really don't think you should do that. You need to take a position. Is it positive or negative? And this is one of those rare times where I say that, but you really should just decide, okay? And then just go with it. So that would be my biggest concern here, okay? That you decide to go with both of them, and you really shouldn't have. So, in summary, cultures have become more similar in an industrialized world where people cross borders. You can't do that. More than ever before is what you want to say here. I believe that this transformation can contribute to a more tolerant society. However, a lack of diversity can stop the progress of society. Alright, I mean, it's nice, but I've already told you that. I don't think you should have been like 50-50 about it. I think you should have made a decision, decided which one was stronger and which one you're going to support, okay? Alright, let's take a look at the school subject preferences here. Okay, Germany 14, 16, 18. The given pie charts compare the preferences for 8 school subjects in Germany 2000, okay? Overall, it is clear that PE and physics were the most preferred subjects in 2014, and 16, but 2 years later, the preferences changed to math and history. In contrast, although the German students liked chemistry the least in 2014, in 2016, IT was the least preferred subject. Okay, fine. And, hold on a second. Let me just fix that. Okay. Analyzing the information in more detail, in 2014-16, almost a third of students preferred PE and approximately 25% preferred physics. However, while almost a quarter of students preferred geography, in 2014, this subject was only chosen by 3.9 and 8.3 of students in 2016-18, respectively. In addition, in 2014 and 16, maths and biology were preferred by only 10 and 7% of students. But in 2018, these subjects were the most preferred by almost 30% of students. In the 3 years, chemistry and IT were the least preferred subjects between 1 and 3%, although biology was preferred by only approximately 7% of students in 2014-16. This subject was the second preferred in 2018 by 21.8% of the students. Regarding history, this subject was one of the least preferred in 2014, but in the other 2 years, the proportion of students who chose this subject was significantly higher by approximately 20%. Okay. I feel like a lot of this is a little repetitive in terms of the language. Like this whole paragraph, it's like you had the same structure. You said, okay, while this, da-da-da, on the other hand, this. So this felt to me really kind of mechanical. It felt a little, like there was nothing novel, there was nothing new. It was like just the same expression over and over again to express some of these, like even here, you did the same thing. It's just like the same thing. So on the one hand, you have this and this, but this, in this year, this and this is what happened. So it just became a little monotonous, okay? I wasn't sure. I do want to just check. I think you mentioned all 8. I'm pretty sure you did. Let me just double check. PE and physics is 2. Math and history is 4. Chemistry is 5. Geography is 6. And then I see biology. And then IT, okay. And history. I think you mentioned all of them. It looks like you did at least. So that's fine. I don't know if I love the way you organized this. I'd have to think about how I would maybe organize it a little differently. But this one is challenging because you have 3 different pie charts over 3 different years. So I think what you did is fine. All right, let's see. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest problem. The fact that you used the same technique to describe the data throughout. It just became really mechanical and really repetitive. You needed to find other expressions and other ways to express some of these contrasts and some of these differences, okay? All right, so go ahead and correct them. Let's see more work from you, and we'll be waiting, so good luck.